Just like someone else I know, Cassie says, grinning and elbowing me. Because that's the word I get, too. Sweet. I'm pretty famous for it, actually. Every yearbook I own is filled with, "You're the sweetest, stay sweet." Sometimes spelled like sweat. He's kind of cute, Cassie adds. What's his deal? Reed? Mina asks. Yeah, like, is he single? Asks Cassie, and my whole body goes on high alert. I mean, Reed's Facebook profile said single. Capital S, single. But maybe he's one of those people who never updates his profile. Not that it matters. Oh my God, this place is cute, Mina says, peering up the staircase at the front of the bakery. Right, Cassie says, taking the steps 2 at a time. Mina and I follow her up. So, this is literally a cheesecake bakery, Mina says, laughing. How did I not know about this? I guess you should hang out here more or something, Cassie says. I guess you're right. She smiles, and Cassie threads their fingers together, just for a minute. Probably no one even notices but me. I look quickly away, eyes on the display cases. What's up, cheesecakes? I'm just going to stare at you forever. Because when a tender moment happens between any 2 people, I turn into an 11-year-old boy. It is my most consistent talent. I don't think I've ever been so happy to see Olivia show up. We order some cheesecakes and bring them to a table. So, wait, back to Reed, Cassie says, leaning toward her. We still need the info on him. I could hug her. Not that I care. I'm just curious. But still. Right, Mina says. Well, he's definitely single. Oh God, how to explain Reed? She tilts her head. Like, he's one of those Ren Fair guys? Season pass, full costume? Olivia smiles. Aw, I love Ren Fair guys. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say he's the kind of guy you marry, but not the kind of guy you date. Or have sex with. Mina wrinkles her nose. Which pisses me off. Are there really people who just aren't the sex type? I mean, obviously there are asexual people, but that's different. I guess I'm wondering this. Can a person be fundamentally sexually repulsive? I mean, maybe Reed's not cool or muscular enough for sex. And if I like him anyway, what does that say about me? Is it because I'm scared to like someone hotter? I'm not saying I like him, but if I did. Hypothetically. I mean, Abby dates geeks. But when you're that pretty, you can date anyone. And people know you picked the geek on purpose. Like, you could have had the hot guy, but you didn't want him. But when you're a fat geek who likes another fat geek, everyone assumes you're settling. I feel a little sick. I can't explain it. Anyway, Will was seriously flirting with you last night, Mina says. Okay. I feel my face grow warm. I don't know. I can't entirely process the idea that someone like Will was actually flirting with me. It's so perfect, too, because even if the boyfriend thing doesn't work out, you could always hook up with him. He's great about that. I promise, he wouldn't even be weird about it the next day. I just look at her. To be honest, I kind of wonder how she knows that. Well, Molly would be weird about it, Cassie points out. And under the table, she presses her foot against mine, side by side. I would not. You would, Olivia says. I mean, they're right. I'd be super weird. I'd get quiet and self-conscious, and I'd probably wonder for the rest of my life what Will thought about my kissing abilities. Or lack thereof. I feel really jittery all of a sudden, and I need to do something with my hands. I take out my phone, and I have 2 missed texts from Reed. I take a bite of chocolate cheesecake and tap into my messages. Okay, so my official assessment of the cookie dough is... cat emoji with heart eyes. thumbs up emoji, trophy emoji, beefy muscle arm emoji, blissful eyes closed smiling emoji. And there's that same soft prickle in my abdomen. He's pretty good with emojis. Olivia leaves to hang out with her mom, but Cassie, Mina, and I spend the afternoon wandering around the back streets. Just the three of us. I feel a little strange, like maybe I'm vag blocking them just by being here. But every time I try to leave them alone, they follow me. I have to admit, it's kind of nice. I guess they actually want to spend the day with me, even if it means fewer opportunities for making out. Maybe my company is even better than making out, which is pretty much my goal as a human being, honestly. After dinner, we walk down to the middle school for fireworks. The field behind the school is already packed with people. On lawn chairs, on blankets, eating organic kale chips and jiggling babies. We spread out our mom's big Fear the Turtles blanket, and we settle in together, and then Mina takes a group selfie. And then I fold my hands behind my head and let my eyes slide shut, just listening. There's this jumble of sounds, people laughing, kids shrieking, and my heart beating along with the community marching band. I feel almost electric. Hey. There's a tap on my arm. I open my eyes. Look at this. Mina stretches her arm over Cassie to pass me her phone. What am I looking at? Just read it, she says, grinning. It's a text from Will. I guess she sent him the selfie and he wrote back, BRB, just sulking forever. Why is he sulking? I ask, heat rising in my cheeks. Because there's a cute girl here and he's stuck at home babysitting. I can't wrap my mind around it. The idea that not hanging out with me would drive hipster Will to sulking. And if it's true, I can't decide if it's thrilling or terrifying. It's funny. A few hours ago, I was obsessing over Reed. Maybe obsessing is the wrong word. But running into him did something to my heartbeat. And when I thought he might hug me, I kind of definitely almost lost my shit. It's like I'm thinking about him as a crush, not a coworker. But suddenly, there's Will. It's hard to know what to make of this. I've always been a very monogamous crusher. But my head's all mixed up about this. When I close my eyes, it's so easy to picture Will beside me. The bright blue eyes and the wildly red hair, both dimmed by the sunset. Dating Will would feel like a seatbelt clicking into place. Everything lined up just as it should be. Mina and Cassie. Will and me. It's just strange that my mind keeps circling back to hazel eyes and stupidly white sneakers. Cassie nudges me suddenly. Hey, they're starting. I open my eyes. And the first thing I notice isn't the crackling streak of the first firework. It's Mina's leg, draped over Cassie's. It's their hands, laced together, resting softly on Mina's stomach. 14. My eyes slide open at sunrise, and I feel a little unmoored. It's still surprising, waking up on the bottom bunk. Above me, Cassie breathes softly. Not a snore, just those Cassie sleep sounds she's made since we were little. It's funny, the things that change and the things that don't. I wander downstairs in my pajamas to find Nadine in the kitchen, sipping coffee. Zave still sleeping? I ask. Never, she scoffs. He's in the living room with Grandma. She's leaving today? Tomorrow morning, Nadine says. How were the fireworks? Literally the best ever, I say. She laughs. I smile faintly. What? Nothing's ever just the best. Gotta be literally the best. There's a sudden loud wail from the living room. Yep, there we go, Nadine says, setting down her mug. I follow her into the living room, where Xavier has flung himself backward in Grandma Betty's arms, sobbing. What's going on, baby? Nadine asks. What is so terrible? It's this terrifying pigeon. Grandma says, holding up a picture book. Hey, Nadine says, raising a finger. Don't you diss, pigeon. Grandma laughs, and I sink onto the couch next to her. How are you doing, Mamala? She strokes the back of my hair. Pretty good. Now, you're not working today, are you? I shake my head. Good. You girls work too hard. I think you should just take the day and relax. Well, I need to get started on wedding centerpieces. You're doing the centerpieces? Grandma asks. I nod. Well, that's very ambitious. How can I help? And she actually does seem up for it. So I let her cover the dining room table with newspapers while I grab mason jars and paint from the basement. I hand her a paintbrush. So I saw this in a tutorial on YouTube. Now, is that like the band? She asks. What? Nadine pokes her head in the doorway, grinning. She's talking about you too. Oh, no, this is different. YouTube is like... I trail off. I mean, how does a person explain YouTube to her 70-year-old grandmother? I give up and start organizing my paints. I have these totally badass, magical Martha Stewart paints in pastel colors, and you can use them on anything, even fabric. Sometimes I paint tiny flowers on the collars of my cardigans. My theory is that it's impossible to plan a wedding without Martha Stewart paints, and I suspect there are studies that prove this. These are lovely, Grandma says. I show her where to paint and how thickly to coat it, and we settle into a sort of quiet rhythm. You've gotten to be so artistic. It takes me a minute to realize why I'm blushing. But then I remember. I've had this conversation before. With Will. And Cassie being mortifyingly unsubtle as usual. You know, my mother was artistic. Your bubby? She was a wonderful seamstress. She leans forward. She had a Model 201 Singer sewing machine, and she sewed all our clothing. They were beautiful pieces. The girls at school used to ask me where I bought my dresses. I nod, feeling like I should say something. She'd be so proud of you, Mamala. I have this sudden vision of my great-grandma high-fiving my other ancestors in Cassie's reality TV version of heaven. Now, tell me, do you have a sewing machine? I shake my head. I just use a needle. Oh, well. We'll have to do something about that, Molly. It will change your life. Okay. I smile. Suddenly, I hear Cassie's footsteps on the stairs. Hey, I'm heading out, she calls. Hold up. Nadine steps into the living room, Zave balanced on her hip. Where are you going? To Mina's. Okay, but I need you back by dinner. It's your grandmother's last night. Okay, we were gonna... Nope. You're gonna be right here with your butt in this chair by 6 o'clock. Got it? Cassie starts typing on her phone and doesn't respond. Nadine shakes her head. Yo, put the phone away. This is not how conversations work. I'm texting Mina. Yeah, I know. Cassie's eyes flash. Okay, I was literally texting her to say I need to be home at 6. Which you'd know if you just gave me a second without interrupting. Whoa, Nadine says. You don't get to talk to me that way. Now, you're not going anywhere. What? You just earned yourself a day at home with your family. Nadine shrugs. Are you kidding me? Because I sent a text? That's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, your language? Also not okay. Cassie throws her hands in the air. Since when do you care? You know what? Nadine starts to say, but Cassie interjects. This is bullshit. Where's Patty? She's delivering a baby, I say. Cassie huffs and sinks into a chair. Do you want to help us paint mason jars? I ask after a moment. Cassie laughs harshly. No. Wow, I say. Jesus Christ, Molly, stop. I'm not doing anything. You're looking at me like... No, I mean, no offense, but do I want to paint fucking mason jars with you and Grandma? Or do I want to hang out with my girlfriend? There's this awful, throbbing silence. My chest tightens and my throat gets thick. Except I'm not going to cry. Not right now. But my eyes start to sting. I stare at the floor. I just have to say, I love these Apple phones, Grandma announces suddenly. You know who I love? Siri. Have you tried asking her about 0 divided by 0? She's a hoot. Yeah, I don't even want to know how Grandma Betty knows that. But I get what she's doing. And it's working. I think the air in the room just became 50% more breathable. You have an iPhone? Cassie asks, eyes narrowed. Oh, I have an iPhone, Grandma says, and I have an iPod and an iMac and an Air Mac. An Air Mac? I ask, and she gives me this exaggerated wink. Betty, you're so full of shit, Nadine says, which makes me laugh, despite myself. Despite everything. Grandma wags her finger. I'm proud of my shit. Unbelievable, Cassie says. She rubs her temples like she's the longest-suffering, most profoundly wronged human on the planet. Then she turns on her heel and charges back up the stairs. 15. Of course, Cassie shows up for dinner acting totally normal, like her standoff with Nadine never happened. Like she didn't throw a tantrum about the prospect of wasting a Sunday with me. And I kind of want to give her the silent treatment, except she's basically immune to it. She just retaliates with a double silent stink-eye attack, and somehow I'm the one who ends up apologizing. Clearly, I should just forget about it. I wish I were better at forgetting about things. We settle in around the table, and Cassie straps Save into his high chair, but Grandma and my moms are so deep into their conversation that it's like they don't notice us. I don't know, Nadine says, with this tense little shrug. She just said she can't make it. Then she pours herself a glass of wine and chugs it like it's lemonade. Nadine, wow. Well, maybe it's a money thing, Patty says. Or maybe she's a homophobic asshole. Who's the homophobic asshole? I ask. They all startle, looking up at me. Oh, sweetie, I'm sorry, Patty says, glancing quickly at Nadine. Maybe we shouldn't be talking about this at dinner. Need me to beat someone up for you? I ask. Cassie makes a face. It's Aunt Karen, right? Yep, Nadine nods. Cassie rolls her eyes. Yeah, I'm not even surprised. She's not coming to the wedding? I ask. Patty purses her lips. Yeah, she's being... You know, she's Karen. It's funny. Nadine and my Aunt Karen have been close since they were kids. Way closer than Nadine is with Abby's dad, my Uncle Albert. Karen's never been married and has no human kids, though she has 4 rescue dogs. But even though Nadine and Karen talk every week, and even though she just lives in Annapolis, Cassie and I have only met her in person a handful of times. She always just happens to visit when Patty's at work. And she kind of pretends like Patty doesn't exist. In other words, homophobic asshole. My goodness, that makes me so sad, Grandma says. She picks up her fork and waves it around. Love is love, Cassie snorts. Thank you, Grandma. I'm telling you, life is too short for this bullshit. I'll toast to that, says Nadine, as she chugs her drink again. But hours later, I'm still restless. So I wait until everyone's gone to bed, and then I slide out of the bottom bunk as quietly as I can. Where are you going? Cassie asks. Going to pee? No, you're not, she says. I have no idea how she knows this. Sometimes Cassie knows exactly what I'm thinking, and I literally can't think of any explanation other than twin telepathy. I'm eavesdropping, I admit. Ooh, I'm coming with you. She slides her legs down and lands on the floor beside me with a thud. We creep down the hall to the bathroom, and I pull the door shut slowly. Years ago, Cassie and I figured out that the vent in the upstairs bathroom is a direct portal to our mom's room. We used to bring snacks up and line the bathtub with pillows so we could really settle in for some quality eavesdropping. And then it occurred to us that we were at grave risk of overhearing mom sex. So we shut down that operation pretty quickly. But tonight, Cassie puts the toilet lid down and sits on it like a chair, and I settle in with a pillow in the bathtub, and it's exactly like it used to be. Right away, I hear them. Not calling her, Nadine saying. She's your sister. She's an asshole. I'm just saying we should hear her side of this. She doesn't get a side. Nadine's voice cracks. She's missing our wedding. Patty sighs. I know. Nadine says something else, but it's too quiet to make out. Deanie, I know. Patty says again. I know. It's just messed up, Nadine says. But Albert and Wanda and the kids are coming. Yep, they're coming. Nadine sighs. I just never thought Karen would be the one with issues, you know? And Al's the chill one. What fucking universe are we living in? Nadine sounds so upset, I whisper. Well, yeah, I mean, even Grandma thinks it's fucked up. Cassie shrugs. Like, that's a pretty clear sign we're wading into some problematic shit. Yeah. And I get that feeling, all of a sudden, where I could honestly start laughing or crying. It could go either way. But I guess you have to hand it to Grandma. She has issues with weight, and she's maybe kind of racist, but she's never once had a problem with Patty being bisexual. When Patty came out, the first thing Grandma did was try to set her up with the Cantor's daughter, who was actually straight, but Grandma gets thrown off when women have short hair. Anyway, Grandma tries, and at least she'd never miss the wedding. Even Uncle Albert would never miss it. I just don't understand how you could miss your sister's wedding. If Cassie got married, you'd have to kill me to keep me away. And even then, I'd show up as a zombie. I'd be the zombie of honor. I'd lurch down the aisle with my face oozing off and my eyeballs popping out into my bouquet. But I would never, ever miss it. So this Aunt Karen thing doesn't compute. Cassie must be thinking the same thing because she whispers, You'd never do that. No way. Because I'd kill you, she says, smiling. I'd deserve it. And I'd still show up. And I promised not to blow off your straightsy wedding. Straightsy? I ask. Straightsy. Hetsy? Oh, I like Hetsy. Of course you do. It sounds like Etsy. I grin. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I know. You're really predictable. Come on. She stands up. Let's stop hanging out in bathrooms. Me hanging out in bathrooms is the reason you have a girlfriend, I say. Touché. I feel this bubble of happiness. It's nothing, really. Just a moment. But it's the most normal moment Cassie and I have had all day. Out of nowhere. In the bathroom. Just us being us. So, maybe we'll be fine. 16. I'm up before Cassie, and I've got hours before work, so I heft a bunch of fabric down to the living room. I'm making a garland. I've seen them all over Pinterest, scraps of mismatched fabric tied onto a ribbon in colorful strips. Though I'm having trouble focusing. My mind keeps getting stuck on what Cassie said yesterday. No offense, but do I want to paint fucking mason jars with you and Grandma? Or do I want to hang out with my girlfriend? It's just a dumb thing she said when she was angry. And we're fine now. I should clearly let it go. But there's something about being lumped in with Grandma as one of the undesirables. Like I'm an annoying little sister here to rain on Cassie's parade. It's just not how twins are supposed to operate. I try to focus on the crisply satisfying snip of scissors through fabric. I try to be mindful. But my brain is such a whirlpool that I barely notice anything. I don't even hear Patty's footsteps until she's standing above me. Oh, wow. What's all of this? I almost jump. Hi. She pushes a throw pillow aside and perches on the edge of the couch. Can I see? Sure. Yeah, it's for the wedding. I show her a picture on my phone. That's gorgeous. It's really easy to make. I'll definitely finish it this week. Perfect. She makes this sound that's halfway between a laugh and a sigh. Less than 3 weeks, huh? Are you nervous? About being married? Nah, but this wedding thing, let me tell you. I settle in next to her on the couch, feet tucked up. And the drama with Aunt Karen? Yeah. I feel bad for bringing it up in front of you guys. Don't feel bad. We would have found out anyway. How? Eavesdropping, I tell her. Oh, really? She laughs. Then she presses her hands on her thighs and leans forward, sighing. Yeah, it is what it is. Your mom is pretty sad about it. Has she talked to Karen? I don't think so. I don't think I could get married without Cassie there, I say. Oh, sweetie. She sweeps my hair to the side and rubs the back of my neck. Yeah, it sucks. But it's just one of those things. And as you get older, it's not quite so... She trails off, thinking. Quite so shitty? She smiles faintly. It's pretty shitty. It really is. This stuff is incredibly hard. She tilts her head. But it's not quite so raw. You know, when you're 17, everything feels like the end of the world. Or the beginning of the world. And that's an awesome thing. I nod. But, it's been really complicated with Deanie and Karen for a long time. Obviously, she's never been cool with Nadine being gay. And they're not as close as they used to be. Oh. And sometimes that's just what happens. People grow apart. Her words just sit there. And they leave this hollow ache in my gut. Not as close as they used to be. People grow apart. And it makes me think of Cassie. Even though Cassie and I would never do what Aunt Karen's doing, we'd never fall that far apart. But we'll drift. Siblings always do. They marry other people and have their own families and forget the way they used to whisper in bunk beds. It's as inevitable as an airplane landing. But there's this sonogram picture of Cassie and me, where we're pressed up against our little sacks, as close to each other as we can get. Apparently, we wouldn't sleep in separate cribs. We held hands in our car seats. We started walking on the same day. Cassie first, and then me. Now it feels like all we do is take tiny steps away from each other. Toward crushes. Toward girlfriends. I'm not saying I want to be like those 100-year-old Delaney sisters. I always pictured us both married, with our own homes and spouses and a bunch of awesome kids. I just never thought about the in-between time. The part where we turned from we to she and me. I mean, Cassie's so ridiculous with her let's date best friends plan. But maybe she's right. Because Cassie's gone. Her train has left the station. And all I can do is try to catch the next one in the same direction. Or I don't. And we grow apart. I hate that phrase, I say. Growing apart. It reminds me of plants. Patty laughs. What do you have against plants? I just hate it. I know. She hugs me around the shoulders and sighs. When I get to work, Reed's at the front of the store, taking down the 4th of July display. Or at least he's making it a little less conspicuously red, white, and blue. He leaves the burlap tablecloth and vintage Coke crates, but he's stacking the Americana painted mason jars into a cardboard box. It's pretty interesting watching Reed work. He gets really hyper-focused and methodical, like he's in the zone. He doesn't even notice me until I'm literally standing next to him.
Hey, you're here.
He lays the final mason jar down in a nest of bubble wrap and nudges the box aside with his shin.
Okay, I have to tell you something. Your cookie dough was the best thing I have ever tasted in my entire life.
Really?
It's all I can think about.
I laugh. Oh, wow.
Molly, I am not joking. I don't know how something so wonderful even exists on this earth.
You know, there's still a few left over, right?
What?
He clutches his heart. You should come over after work, I say. And then I immediately regret it. It's not the fact that I'm being extremely uncareful. That's a good thing. Uncareful is exactly what we're going for. Except the person I'm supposed to be uncareful around is Will. Because Will takes me a step closer to Cassie. Reed takes me further away. But still, my heart is beating so quickly. I open my mouth to speak again, but the words fall away. My entire brain empties in a single whoosh, like driving through a tunnel in a rainstorm. And now I should probably say something, but that would involve words, and what even are words? And he's looking at me with the hazelest eyes and the softest, most upturned mouth. I can't. But I'm saved. By Deborah, who corners us, smiling. God, she even looks like Reed, sort of. I think their mouths are similar. I don't know how I didn't notice this. Hey, sorry to interrupt, she says, but I need some heavy lifters. Someone bought that vanity. You guys up for it? I don't know why I feel so nervous.
Sure. The white one?
Reed asks. Yep, she's pulling her car around now. Reed and I head over to the back corner of the store, where there's a wooden vanity table painted a distressed white with a big rectangular mirror. It's one of my favorite pieces in the whole store.
You ready?
Reed asks, gripping one side, bracing for its weight. Ready. We lift it on 3 and carry it a few feet before setting it down slowly. Then we lift it again, walk, and stop. Lift, walk, stop. And as it turns out, Reed and I are pretty good at carrying heavy stuff together, even though he's over a half a foot taller than me, and I'm the least athletic person on the planet. I think it helps that we take it slowly. We set it down again, and he looks at me.
So your sister's dating Mina Choi?
Yeah, they're kind of inseparable these days.
Oh, that's cool.
We pick up the vanity again and walk a few steps. So, what's she like? I ask when we set it down again.
Mina?
Yeah. Like, should a protective sister be worried about this?
Oh, I don't think so. She's pretty cool. She's artsy, I guess. I don't know her that well.
He shrugs. We lift the vanity again, and this time we get it almost to the door, and then it takes 2 more lift, walk, stop cycles before we reach the woman's car. She has a big open SUV with all the back seats folded down, and the 3 of us manage to wedge it in there somehow. Then the woman drives off, and Reed brushes his hands on his jeans. Okay, that was really impressive of us, I say. Right? Like, as a feat of strength?
It was a feat of strength.
He agrees, smiling, and I think he likes the way I phrased it. Then he pauses.
Okay, question.
Yep. He tilts his head.
Are you serious about this cookie dough situation?
You mean the situation of extra cookie dough existing at my house? His dimple flickers.
Yes.
Oh, I'm serious. I am dead serious.
That is very good to know.
And there may also be vanilla ice cream, I say, if you're willing to help me with my mom's wedding centerpieces.
I see.
He grins.
Okay, but I'm not very artistic.
I can talk you through it, I say, and there's this quiet little yank below my stomach. When our shift ends, we take the back streets to my house, and Reed tells me about this fireworks viewing party he went to at his parents' friend's condo, which has a rooftop. Because of course Deborah and Ari go to rooftop parties downtown.
And it was interesting,
he says.
But it was basically a bunch of adults drinking craft beer and asking me where I'm applying to college.
Oh my God, why are adults so obsessed with that?
I know.
He shrugs.
Anyway, my friend Douglas lives near Capitol Hill, so my brother and I snuck off to his house to play World of Warcraft.
You missed the fireworks? He looks sheepish.
Yeah.
Not very patriotic, Reed.
I know.
But hey, you're wearing red, white, and blue today.
I am?
He looks down. He doesn't remember what he's wearing. I love that.
Oh, I am.
He pauses.
But where's the white?
What?
On my outfit. I've got a red shirt, blue jeans.
I grin up at him. Your sneakers.
Oh.
We step into the crosswalk. They're very white, I tell him.
Yeah, that's actually funny,
he says.
Because one of the only real conversations I've had with Mina Choi was about that.
About your sneakers?
Yup.
Really? What did she say?
Oh, you know.
He blushes.
It wasn't a big deal.
Okay, so now I'm curious. What in the world did Mina say about Reed's sneakers?
This is your house, right?
He says. Yep. Are you ready to paint centerpieces? He looks slightly unnerved.
I think so,
he says with a serious nod. Then he pushes his glasses up.
Yes.
All right. Let me give you some newspapers, and maybe you could cover up the porch, and then I'll run in and get the supplies.
I can do that.
And I'll also grab your cookie dough, I add. He beams.
Awesome.
I set Reed up with our recycling bin, and by the time I return with the mason jars and paint, he's got the whole porch covered with newspapers. This is great, I tell him. It's the perfect workspace. I set the first batch of jars down on top of it.
And you're painting these?
He asks, brow furrowed. Yep, and then I'll fill them with flowers. It'll be really cute and simple.
So, I don't want to throw you off your game or anything,
he says.
But you realize they're already painted, right?
Yes. I make a face at him. They get a second coat. He settles cross-legged onto the newspaper with his cookie dough while I pick up my paintbrush. And somehow, it's this perfect sigh of a moment. It's cloudy and sort of breezy. I line up my brushes and begin squeezing different colors of paint into an egg container. And the funny thing is, I know Reed's not looking at me, but I sense him looking at me. It doesn't line up. I should say something, though, before the silence takes on its own life force. Silence does that sometimes. So you're really not going to tell me what Mina said?
What Mina said?
About your shoes. He laughs.
It was really nothing.
I want to know. He shrugs.
Okay, I don't know. It was during prom, so she might have been a little drunk, but we both ended up outside at one point, and she came over and sat next to me, which was a little surprising just because, we never really... Anyway, she put her arm around me and got a very serious look on her face and said, "Reed, I'm going to give you some really, really important advice, okay?" And I said, "Okay." And she said, "Those sneakers are a liability."
A liability? I ask. He nods and takes a quick bite of cookie dough.
Yeah, like, with girls.
He blushes.
With dating. Like, my shoes are a turnoff.
Oh, God. I cover my cheeks. Mina.
Yeah, it was kind of weird,
Reed says. But oh, there's a tiny secret part of me that knows. Mina's right. Sort of. It's hard to explain, but the sneakers are awful. They are so bright white. They're so loudly, defiantly uncool. Not that it matters. It totally doesn't matter. But come on. He wore the sneakers to prom. But you kept them, I say, nudging his sneaker with the toe of my flat.
Yeah.
He smiles.
I don't know. I just don't care that much.
About impressing girls? He blushes again.
No, it's just, I am who I am, I'm not ever going to be cool.
He shrugs.
But it doesn't really bother me.
I think you're cool. He laughs.
Thank you.
I'm just saying. I turn a mason jar over in my hands and try not to smile. Because I have to admit, there's something really badass about truly, honestly not caring what people think about you. A lot of people say they don't care, or they act like they don't care, but I think most people care a lot. I know I do. Like, if someone had told me an article of my clothing was a liability, I'll be honest, I'd probably burn it. But Reed wears those sneakers every single day. And there's something interesting about that. Unsettling, but in a good way, like when a stranger looks you right in the eye. I feel suddenly nervous. I need to stick these in the oven, I say, standing abruptly. The paint needs to set. There's this springing in my chest. My pogo stick of a heart. When I step back outside, Reed suggests going on a walk, if I want to. And yes, I want to. So we do. We fall into pace together, our strides adjusting automatically. It's getting grayer outside, with heavy hanging clouds like wet diapers. That's how Nadine describes it.
So, are you doing any other projects for the wedding?
Reed asks as we come up on Laurel Avenue. He reaches out to press the walk button. I'm making a fabric garland for the ceremony space.
A fabric garland?
His dimple flickers.
Are we sure that's a real thing?
Oh, we're sure.
I need a visual,
he says. I pull out my phone, and then I text him the link to Let Me Google That For You. He stops walking to check my text. I don't think he's actually capable of texting and walking at the same time.
Psh, very funny.
He grins. And then he hugs me. It's kind of a one-armed, sideways, squeezy hug. It's over before I can process it, but now my insides are one big shaken Coke bottle. He starts to say, but then the sky dims so suddenly it's like someone flipped a switch. The first few raindrops plunk down slowly. Then the sky splits open. I say.
Should we make a run for it?
I think we have to. I look up at him. His hair clings slickly to his forehead, and rain slides down his nose and his cheeks and the lenses of his glasses. Can you see? He laughs.
Can you?
And then, carefully, he reaches forward, pushing my wet bangs to the side. My breath catches in my throat. Okay, let's run, I say quickly. He grabs my hand, and there's this pulsing tightness below my stomach. We run all the way back to my front porch, our clothes soaked through, hands still intertwined. The rain is still coming down so forcefully, the drops seem to ricochet back up off the pavement. It smells wet, and it sounds like stepping into the shower. He laughs.
So that was...
Don't be careful. But then the door opens. Our hands spring apart. It's Cassie, and her eyebrows are raised to unprecedented heights. What is this? A wet t-shirt contest? Yes, I grin, my heart still pounding. You both lose, she says, but she looks at me quizzically. And I can read her thoughts as clearly as if she said them out loud. 17. And now I can't stop thinking about it. The rainstorm. All of it. My brain has turned the whole thing into a hazily lit movie reel, Valencia filtered, to a soundtrack of Bon Iver. I keep remembering the way our hands looked, laced together. My arms, covered in goosebumps. Reed's fingertips on my forehead, sliding my bangs aside. This is crazy, but I almost think he might have kissed me. Or I could have kissed him, and he would have kissed me back. So this is what it's like not being careful. I feel vaguely nauseated, like a weirdly pleasant norovirus. Kind of the halfway point between vomiting and becoming a sentient heart-eye emoji. Which means it's probably time to officially declare it. Crush number 27, Reed of the Sneakers. Read of the cookie dough obsession. Read of the year-round mini-egg relevance. I mean, I don't even know how to explain him. It's too soon. I'm too in the thick of it. I want him to text me, even though I know he's at work. He's probably unpacking picture frames at this very moment. But I can't stop checking my phone. Nothing. Miles of nothing. I try to lose myself in my garland, cutting slits into the ends of the fabric. The cool thing about cotton is that you don't have to cut the entire strip. If you rip it in the right direction, it comes apart in a single line. I need approximately 50 billion fabric strips for this garland, which is good because my hands need 50 billion distractions. If I'm ripping fabric, I'm not sending embarrassingly honest texts to Reed. Reed, I don't think your sneakers are a liability. Reed, you should have kissed me in that rainstorm. Maybe I should have kissed you. The weirdest thing is this compulsion I feel to say it out loud. I want to yell it into the tunnels of the metro and make it my Facebook status. I want to look Reed right in the face and say it. Reed, I just like you, okay? I think he might like me, too. Except maybe I'm misinterpreting. Or maybe he does like me. But what happens after that? We'd kiss. Okay. We'd have sex. I don't know. Even if he likes me, I'm not sure he'd like me naked. I hate that I'm even thinking that. I hate hating my body. Actually, I don't even hate my body. I just worry everyone else might. Because chubby girls don't get boyfriends, and they definitely don't have sex. Not in movies, not really. Unless it's supposed to be a joke. And I don't want to be a joke. I'm not scheduled for work on Wednesday, so I end up tagging along with Cassie to Mina's house. And it's slightly weird because Mina's parents are home. And I don't mean that her parents are weird. They're actually really cool. Mina's mom is a psychiatrist and her dad's a psychologist, but they're the type who don't want to be called doctor. Especially her dad, who almost seems like a hippie, which I didn't expect from a guy in Bethesda named Eugene. We end up making small talk in the kitchen. Mina's mom pokes at something on the stove, while her dad flips through a stack of mail on the counter.
Hey, I hear you live in Tacoma Park, he says. I did my postdoc right near there.
And now they're in private practice together, Mina says. Isn't that so sweet? She rolls her eyes. But Cassie nods eagerly. It is. Oh my goodness. She is sucking up to the parents, and she's sucking hard. Do you have a specialty? Cassie asks. A little bit, Mina's mom says. We get most of our referrals through insurance, so we end up seeing a nice variety, but we work a lot with anxiety. Nice, Cassie says, beaming at me as if to say, hey, Molly, you have that. What a cool, totally not awkward coincidence. So, the guys are already downstairs, Mina's mom says. But can I get you anything to eat? I've got an egg and ramen almost done here. We're good, Mina says quickly. Or do you need some drinks to bring down there? For a minute, I think Mina's mom means booze. Maybe they really are hippies. But then she opens the kitchen fridge and hands Mina a few bottled waters. Really nice to meet you, Molly, she says. I'm just so glad Mina's made some more girlfriends. Oh, okay. So I don't think Mina's mom was using the word girlfriend in the my daughter makes out with this person way. Unless she thinks Mina's actually dating both of us. Now I wonder if they even know Cassie's more than a friend. I mean, I assumed Mina was out, but now I'm not sure. And I feel strange asking. What was your mom making? Asks Cassie as we follow Mina downstairs. Egg and ramen? Have you never had that? No, but it sounds amazing. Oh, it is. Mina pauses at the bottom step to smile up at her. I'll make it for you someday. In the basement, the boys are absorbed in an old-school Nintendo game. Will's perched on the love seat, jabbing a controller. Is this Mario? I ask. Yes. Will's eyes never leave the game. Don't be careful. And don't think about Reed. I sink into the cushions beside him.
He's scary good at this,
Mina tells me. On screen, Will's Mario eats some kind of leaf, which turns into a raccoon. You have to wonder sometimes what these old-timey video game inventors were smoking. I let myself zone out, watching Mario leap over cliffs and sink into pipes. Zoning out feels good. I just need to step outside myself for a minute. I feel so crowded in my head. I can't seem to shake this perpetual awareness of being Molly. Sometimes I'm a confusing person to be. My phone buzzes with a text. Abby. "We got our plane tickets for the wedding," she tells me, "and I'm bringing a +1. Nick's coming?" I write. "Yes, and he's gonna wear a suit."
OMG, he doesn't have to. He'll be the only one, I say.
"I don't care. I want to see him in a suit. Are you bringing anyone?" Winky emoji, kissy face emoji. "Why, yes," I write. "If by someone you mean 84 mason jars and a zillion buttercream cupcakes." "And a handmade fabric garland," I add. "Molly, you are Pinterest as fuck," she writes. I grin at the screen of my phone. "Why, thank you." "But you should bring a date. You should ask hipster Will." God, I don't know what made her latch onto that, especially when I've been spending so much time thinking about Reed. Reed's rain-soaked glasses. Reed pushing my wet bangs out of my eyes. "Who are you texting?" Cassie asks from the couch. She's lying with her head on the armrest and her feet in Mina's lap, while Mina makes some pretty half-hearted efforts as Luigi.
"The fuck, Mina?"
Will says.
"You missed an extra life."
Cassie sits up suddenly. "Are you texting Reed?"
"Wait, is this the Reed I know?"
Max interjects, looking up from his phone.
"Husky pants Reed?"
I feel my whole body burn. "I'm texting Abby." Her eyes narrow. "Why are you blushing?" "Shut up." My phone buzzes again, and I glance at it. "I notice you've gone mysteriously silent. I also notice there are no objections to the Will idea," Abby says. "I object," I type quickly. "Too late." Smiley emoji. I look up, and Cassie's expression is unreadable. Unreadable. Even to me. 18. Reed texts me on Friday.
"Hey, so my friend Douglas and I are going to Medieval Madness."
I write back, "That's awesome."
"Want to come?"
Smiley emoji. Oh, my heart thuds. "I'm so sorry. I can't."
"Oh, no problem,"
he writes. "I'm going to a party with Cassie and Mina." 3 dots.
"Oh, okay,"
he writes. "I'm sorry."
"Why are you sorry?"
"I don't know." But I am. And it's stupid, because God knows what Medieval Madness even is. Something where you drink from flagons, probably, and wear tunics. Something so Reed. I really shouldn't care. But I do care. It sort of ticks in the back of my mind all evening. We metro to Bethesda after dinner, and Mina picks us up from the station. She and Cassie kiss in the car. Just a quick kiss, like parents do. And it occurs to me, suddenly, why they call it the kiss and ride. "So Max's parents aren't home?" Cassie asks. "Yeah, they travel a lot." "There aren't going to be adults?" I blurt. I feel like I'm Xavier's age. "Well, his sister is 18, Mina says, catching my eye in the rearview mirror. "So, in the eyes of the law..." Cassie twists around to grin at me. "Stop making the Molly face." "I'm not," I say, but my cheeks are warm. I shouldn't be freaked out by the idea of a house party. It's not like it's an orgy. I don't think it's an orgy. Mina parks on the street at the end of a long line of cars. I can't believe how many cars there are. I have to admit, I had no idea house parties were even a thing. I fold my arms across my chest and try to act nonchalant. But there's something about tonight. Everything feels a little surreal. For one thing, it's surprisingly chilly out. I'm actually wearing a jacket in July.
Molly, you look so cute, Mina says, putting an arm around my shoulders, which makes me blush.
I'm cute too, Cassie says. Mina smiles up at her.
You just look like you're cold.
AKA, you're a wimp, Cassie grins. She's wearing a tank top and these short yellow shorts. She's just one of those people. She can throw on anything and look adorable. Whereas I am completely camouflaged in careful layers. Under my jacket, I've got this belted dress, green with tiny birds on it, and a camisole and boots. We've timed our arrival pretty carefully. It's late enough that we're not the first ones here, but not so late that everyone's sloppy drunk already.
Should we text Will?
Mina says. Cassie shrugs. Is he here?
He should be.
The way into Max's basement is through the backyard, which still has one of those giant playhouse structures with swings and a rock climbing wall. And it's perfectly maintained. Even though Max doesn't have younger siblings. Parents are funny like that. But inside, it's not quite what I expected. Not that I had any idea what to expect. I guess I thought it would be more like a movie, with a beer pong table and a keg in the corner and guys in well-worn baseball caps. And yes, there are plenty of guys in well-worn baseball caps. But other than that, it's just a normal basement. There are 2 IKEA-looking futons and a bunch of chairs, a foosball table, an air hockey table, and a giant drum set. The lights are dim, and there are lots of people holding red plastic cups. "Mina!" someone shouts. It's a girl I've never seen before, and she's ridiculously gorgeous. Tall, with light brown skin and wide hips and a very twee blue patterned dress. She nudges a fallen hoodie aside with her toe as she walks toward us. "Hey, you must be Cassie." She's talking to me. "Oh, I'm Cassie," says Cassie.
"This is Samar," Mina says.
"Oh, you're Samar," Cassie says. And now I'm wondering what planet I must have been living on, because I'm pretty sure I've never heard of Samar. But Cassie's greeting her like she's famous. I hate that. I hate feeling so utterly out of the loop. "Oh, well, hi. I don't know you," Samar says to me. "This is Molly," Cassie says, with no point of reference. Just Molly, like I'm some random girl.
"Are the boys here?" Mina asks.
Samar nods. "Yeah, Max is hooking up with someone, and I just saw him. She cranes her neck. "Oh, he's by the booze table, predictably." There's a desk at the back of the room that's been totally overtaken with little glass bottles and half-full liters of Coke and orange juice. And there's Will, pouring Sprite into a red cup, his red hair perfectly tousled. His eyes light up when he sees us walking toward him.
"You guys made it."
He grabs my hand.
"Molly, let me make you a drink. What do you want?" There's vodka, Jack, rum, and gin, I think."
I hesitate. "I guess rum?" He pours a rum and Coke and hands it to me, and I realize with a start that Mina and Cassie are gone. They've been absorbed into the crowd. There's someone waiting to pour a drink, so Will and I step to the side, in front of a futon. My legs are heavy with nerves, and I kind of want to sit, but people aren't really sitting. I guess you're not supposed to. Okay, so being alone with Will is making it very hard to keep my cool. Maybe it's just Abby getting into my head, but there's this prickling sense of possibility. It feels like something could happen between us. Something other than me blushing a lot and drinking a rum and Coke with record-breaking slowness.
"I can't handle this music,"
Will says. "Who is this?"
"I don't know. Maroon 5? That Adam guy?"
"Ah, yes, that Adam guy." Will grins at me. That's the other thing about Will. He makes you feel like you're the only person in focus. Like everyone else is just background noise. I'm pretty sure it's not personal. Probably every girl who enters his orbit feels this way, at least for a moment. Still, I can see how people get swept up in him. It's just so hard to believe this is my reality right now. I'm at a party in Bethesda, and my sister has vanished, and now I'm alone with a very cute boy. Well, not alone, but we might as well be. I think his calf is touching mine. I wonder if people watching me right at this moment think I'm part of a couple. With Will, that's sort of thrilling. But I can't shake the thought that I could be at medieval madness right now with Reed. Like there's some alternate universe Molly drinking from a flagon right this second. And yes, it just occurred to me that flagon rhymes with dragon. And yes, I really want to text Reed to tell him. But I probably shouldn't text Reed when I'm standing with Will.
You must be hot,
Will says, startling me. He means my jacket, but I blush anyway. I don't know if there's a place to put my jacket, I say.
I'll take it.
He sets his drink on a coffee table. You don't have to do that.
No, I've got it. I'll find a spot for it.
I unbutton it, feeling strangely like I'm in a movie. Undressing.
I like your dress,
he says when I hand the jacket to him.
I love it.
Thanks. I can't even look at him.
So I'll be right back.
I nod. But as soon as he leaves, I feel 100 times more self-conscious. I sip my drink faster, my other arm curling across my body. It occurs to me that Will could peek at the tag of my jacket and see my size, which makes my heart jump so high in my throat that I almost run after him. But suddenly, someone's beside me. A random boy.
Hey, want to hear something crazy?
The boy says, as if we've known each other for years. I've never seen him before in my life. He's pretty cute, kind of athletic looking, with super short brown hair. Okay, I say.
So, we're in this little town,
he says.
In England, and there's this big stone wall next to the street, just this big-ass wall. And so we're pretty fucked up at the time, and my dude Jones has to pee.
I don't know who Jones is or why I should care about his bodily functions. But maybe this is how parties work. Maybe there's some kind of drunk etiquette I don't know about.
So he pees on the wall, but then...
He sips his drink again, and then says,
Shit.
What?
I'm gonna need a refill. You want something?
And I don't know how any of this works, but I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to let strange guys fill my drink. I'm fine? It comes out sounding like a question. I hate that.
No worries,
he says.
So, well, I gotta tell you this part. There were these giant fucking... Hey.
I look up, and Will's back.
Hey, man,
says the guy. Will narrows his eyes at him.
Oh, are you guys, together? Yes,
Will says quickly. My heart almost stops.
Oh, okay, cool. That's cool,
the guy says.
Okay, well, have a good night.
He chugs the last of his drink and starts to leave, but then he turns back to face me suddenly.
Okay, I just gotta say it.
The guy touches my arm.
You are fucking gorgeous for a big girl.
I freeze.
It's a compliment.
I look at him. Fuck you. I've never said that before. At least not out loud. It feels kind of amazing. My heart pounds wildly.
Whoa, okay, not trying to... Whatever.
He tilts his hands up defensively, and as he drifts back into the crowd, I hear him mutter,
Fat bitch.
Will looks at me.
Okay, that was the hottest fuck you moment I've ever witnessed.
Thanks.
Do you even know that guy?
Nope.
Wow, just a random dickhole.
I guess. I can't think straight. I can't think of anything other than the fact that Will said we were together. And I know he was just trying to get rid of the random guy. But still. He sinks backward onto the futon, patting the cushion beside him. I sit and tug my skirt down closer to my knees. My heart won't stop pounding. I take a tiny sip of my drink. He leans back, eyes flicking toward me, and he opens his mouth like he's about to speak. But I cut him off with a question, and I almost don't realize I'm asking it until it tumbles from my mouth. Why did you tell him we were together?
Oh, shit.
His eyebrows shoot up.
Sorry, were you trying to—
No, God, no. He was shady.
Yeah, you looked really uncomfortable.
I did? Will laughs.
Yeah, your body language was like—
He sits up rigidly straight with crossed arms and a look of utter terror on his face. I did not look like that.
I mean, I thought you were going to vom. That's kind of your thing, right? Public barfing?
He grins. Touché. I smile back at him. God, he really is so beautiful. His eyes are supernaturally blue. And he's funny and nice and smart and all the other things boys should be. Not to mention that he's best friends with my sister's girlfriend. It would make a lot of sense for me to fall for him. Much more sense than Reed, for example. I lean back against the cushions and squeeze my eyes shut. When I open them, I catch a glimpse of yellow shorts and tangled legs on an armchair across the room. It's Cassie and Mina. The funny thing is, Cassie's always described her hookups in glorious detail, but I've never watched one happen. I've never actually seen her make out with someone. It's weird. And sort of sweet. But mostly weird. They're completely intertwined. That's the main thing. It's not even that they're kissing continuously, but there's no space between their bodies anywhere. I watch as Cassie tucks a lock of Mina's hair behind her ear, and Mina's lips twitch into a smile. Then Cassie says something, and Mina laughs, and they kiss again, and Cassie's hand cups Mina's cheek. I definitely shouldn't be watching this, though I guess I'm not the only one. At least 3 dudes are blatantly staring at Cassie and Mina like they're the Super Bowl. The futon creaks, and I suddenly remember Will is sitting beside me. He's tucked one of his legs up, bent at the knee, and he's tugging at his shoelaces, and looking pointedly away from the armchair. Are you freaked out by it? I ask, and my voice comes out quiet. He looks up at me with a start.
By Mina and Cassie?
I don't know. I smile slightly. I guess. He leans back, staring at the ceiling.
I think they're good together.
Oh, well, yeah. I just mean the fact that they're making out in front of us. It's like watching your parents make out, you know? He laughs.
Sort of.
I sneak another glance at them. They seem so separate from this room, like they're on a piece of driftwood, floating. And I feel so lonely all of a sudden. Maybe I should reach for Will's hand or scoot closer or say something uncareful. I could do that, I think. But then my phone buzzes. I shouldn't check it. Not right now. It's just a text. Probably from Abby. Or from Olivia, who's still in Pennsylvania with Evan Schulmeister. I will not be vag-blocked by Evan Schulmeister. It buzzes again, and I lose my train of thought.
Anyway, I should probably find Max,
Will says, patting my arm quickly before hoisting himself up.
You're okay, right?
Yeah, definitely. I nod. It's funny. I feel less disappointed than I thought I would. As soon as Will walks away, I peek at my phone. It's Reed. I guess I kind of had a feeling.
So I'm sitting here with Douglas outside of Medieval Madness, and this place is an orgy. Wait, Douglas would like me to clarify that Medieval Madness is not an orgy. King Street is an orgy.
I lean back into the cushions and giggle quietly. That is hilarious, I write, because I'm at an orgy too. He responds right away.
Oh, really?
But it's a classy orgy, mostly kissing/groping.
And texting, ...
He writes, which makes me blush. I'm not sure why. And texting.
I really love texting,
he writes. Me too. 3 dots. He's typing something. I glance up, and it's funny. I feel sort of invisible. There's this party happening all around me, and I'm entirely separate. I'm a total ice cube, but in a good way.
You know what would suck about living in the Middle Ages?
He writes finally. The bubonic plague? I reply.
Yes, but also, no texting.
3 dots. He's typing something else.
But imagine if there was texting in the Middle Ages.
I smile. Oh, you're really thinking about this, I write back.
Yes.
So what would medieval people have texted? 3 dots.
Chaucer quotes? Codpiece selfies?
Yeah, holy shit, this boy is funny over text. I can totally see you sending a codpiece selfie to Queen Elizabeth, I write.
Wrong time period, but yes. G-D, yes.
And he does the Jewish thing with God's name. Fuck. That's cute. Step it up, Molly. Elizabeth, are you a virgin? Love, read. I type. He writes back immediately.
Nope.
Winky face emoji. Wasn't she the Virgin Queen?
Not if I'd been alive.
He writes. Sorry, but who is this boy? Because I'm pretty sure he's flirting, and I did not realize Reed Wertheim knew how to flirt. I bite back a smile. And I'm about to write back something very uncareful when Cassie collapses on the couch beside me. There you are. Hey. Okay. Guess what? She leans her head on my shoulder and smiles up at me. You, Molly Adele, get the Lexus tonight. I just look at her. Why are you making the Molly face, Molly face? She giggles. Okay, how drunk are you? Just a little, she says and sighs. Molly, she nuzzles into the crook of my neck. You always smell so flowery. I laugh. It's our shampoo. You literally use the same kind, from the same bottle. Yeah, but I don't smell it on myself. Anyway, she pokes my arm. Aren't you excited? You get to drive Mina's Lexus. I'm not driving Mina's Lexus. Okay, well, she says, and I start to reply, but she covers my mouth. No, hear me out. So, I know Mina wasn't going to drink, but we ended up playing Kings, and she's not drunk, but she's like a little bit drunk, so we're just going to play it really safe and crash here. So if you want to drive it home, you totally can. We just need you to pick us up here tomorrow morning. Okay, that's not... And park on the street, just so Nadine and Patty don't get freaked out, okay? I look at her. Cass, I can't. I had a drink. Okay. She tilts her head. Just one drink? Cassie, I'm not driving. I'm just asking. Are you seriously asking me this? I sit up straight, pulling away from her. Are you asking me if I'm going to risk my life by driving home after having alcohol for the second time ever, which I'm not even supposed to combine with Zoloft, by the way? Okay. She laughs, but kind of harshly. Then why'd you do it? Why did I drink? If you're not supposed to drink on your meds, why do you keep doing it, Molly? Are you kidding me? I feel this tightness in my chest and this ache in my cheek, and I realize I've been clenching my jaw. Fuck you. It's the phrase of the night. Cassie's eyebrows shoot up. Whoa. So now you're going to judge me for drinking? Are you serious? You guys were my ride. And now your big plan is to completely ditch me so you can spend the night making out with your girlfriend and I get to be your chauffeur. Something in her expression seems to snag, and my throat thickens. And, you don't even care if I'm safe to drive, just as long as you get your awesome hot night with Mina. Are you joking? She asks. You're seriously going to give me shit for this? Forget it, I say. I wish I hadn't said anything. I don't want to have this conversation. Not here. Not ever. I mean, do you want to talk about this? Cassie says, scooting closer to me. Can we not? I grip my cup tightly. Molly? I look up at her, and her eyes are shining. Okay, that throws me. Cassie doesn't cry. Cassie doesn't even almost cry. You think I'm ditching you for Mina? What do you think? It's something I'd normally never say out loud, but I guess that's the thing about alcohol. Like, you know she's my girlfriend, right? I stare at my knees. I keep picturing Cassie's lips pressed against Mina's ear. I can't stop thinking about that. Molly, why are you doing this? You think I'm doing this? My jaw tightens because this is what Cassie does. She twists things around and acts like I'm coming at her out of nowhere, as if she hasn't spent the last few weeks completely absorbed in Mina Wonderland. Oh my God, just stop, she says. You are so goddamn oversensitive, I know. She throws her hands up. And I feel this wave of calmness. I know that's strange, but even though I hate when she calls me oversensitive, I like that I knew she would. I understand Cassie better than I understand myself, and I don't think Mina will ever know her like I do. I think I'm going to go, I say. She leans backward, laughing, hands over her eyes. So, what? You're going to walk to the metro now? I'm suddenly aware that people are looking at us. Not in a blatant way, but there's some not-so-subtle glancing. People love a shit show. I shrug. Molly, come on. I mean, what were you thinking? Now I'm fighting tears. Like, you just decided to get drunk, and you assumed I'd be able to drive home by myself? I cannot cry. I cannot start crying. Okay, to be honest, I kind of thought you'd be getting a ride with Will tonight anyway, so yeah, he's drunk too. She sighs. Or crashing here with Will? Molly, please don't pretend you don't understand what I'm talking about. I'm not. I exhale and rub my forehead. I'm not hooking up with Will. Yeah, I noticed, which is why I thought you'd want the fucking Lexus. Look, you want to leave the car? Great. That saves us some hassle tomorrow morning. I just thought you might not want to metro tonight. Thought I was being nice. But whatever. There's this pause. I look up, and the light seems a little dimmer, and everyone's a little blurrier around the edges. I catch a glimpse of Max across the room, talking to a girl I don't recognize, and he's laughing, and his bangs are clipped back from his face with a plastic barrette. And what's the deal with Reed? Cassie says, and I almost flinch. With Reed? She rolls her eyes. Or not. I don't know. Just kind of got a vibe the other day on the porch. We're friends. Look, I just want you to be happy, okay? She grabs my drink and takes a swig of it. And I thought you wanted... Okay, this is really warm and gross. She takes another sip. I mean, it seemed like things were going really well with Will, but then I look over here and he's totally gone, and it's like, okay, I don't know what's up. But then something seems to be happening with you and Reed, which is great, fine, whatever. I swallow. Yeah, well, apparently Reed's not the kind of guy you date or have sex with. What are you talking about? Mina said that. She said Reed's the kind of guy you marry. She laughs. God, Molly, you shouldn't give a shit about what Mina thinks. Look how bad her taste is. She pats her own chest and grins. Come on. It's all so subjective. Like, look at that girl. Purple dress. She gestures with her chin. Are you sexually attracted to her? I shake my head. Okay, well, guess what? I think she's hella cute, and I would totally have sex with her. I'm sure Mina would be thrilled. Oh my God, I'm just making a point. We like who we like. Who cares if someone else doesn't get it? That's a good thing. That's less competition.